The divide between the peasants and the nobility was widening. That much was clear, but what still remained unclear was who was in control of Oretrios. There was Signor Santiago, who claimed rule by owning the guard. The sorcerers of Porte said the Castilians were not fit to own this land, and that it should be given to Montaigne, who would rule it better. I agree, I don't think anyone believed that lie, but it did not stop them from trying to claim the city as their own. And that is not to mention the mercenaries that moved in, or the Friends of the Duke Rebellion. Things were getting complicated. And that was before the town hall was destroyed by a mythical green fire. Luckily, it had sat abandoned for some time. It did send the message that the kind ways of the Duke were no more, and that whomever ruled would not be concerned with the opinions of the peasantry. It also attracted the monsters from Isen to come down for some new souls to feast upon. It was a couple of years before the Duchess would return, and things were already getting bleak. Would there be a city left when she finally returned? Last time we had left off, factions were starting to be declared. The crew were a little bit starting to get their sea legs. And we ended with the town hall mysteriously exploding. No lives were really lost in that, but it was a symbolic gesture, and no one knows who did it.
It was Man-Wolf.
Man-Wolf. The Man-Wolf. I don't know if I made this clear, or I think I made this clear last recording, but the howling at night is like monsters from Isen. They're monsters from Isen, which are like gothic monsters, but they're not typically seen this far south.
They have Jinko jeans and like a lot of chains and suspenders hanging off.
So they're gothic monsters, not goths.
I like my version better, but okay.
If you want, the werewolves can have eyeliner.
Now I have to work overtime to make that fit within the story, right?
All right, everyone. That's all for recording tonight. We'll see you next week. All right. So, to begin with, Caitlin is the cartographer, Cody is the companion, Mandy, you're the witness, Vinny, you're the lore keeper. And this time, we're just going to go kind of like rotate through in alphabetical order to make my life easier. So, Caitlin, something has collapsed due to the explosion. What is it?
There was this Harvest Night statue in the city and near the town hall that was a symbol of the triumph of the Harvest Night in the Grain Rot Rebellion. It was the site of the celebrations for the Harvest Night Festival, all these things, and that has collapsed. And the efforts to repair it have not been fast.
I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cody, let's hear another piratey story. And I have the cards if you want more of an idea or something.
I'm gonna do Conquest and Monster, and go ahead and give me the card just for funsies.
The monster card says you were human once. Now people call you a monster. You don't get to see your card you don't get to have a card, a face card.
Cool.
And then the Conquest, it says once an invader from afar came into our land, or once our banners were raised in foreign lands.
Okay. It's hard to come up with a character voice on the fly that is not super derivative. Let me tell you.
Make it Camilla.
Well, that's the problem, is I've done all of my bangers. That's what I got. Is all an Outlaws Wanted. But I know what I want to do.
I mean, you could do Camilla's voice, but male.
Oh, can I, Caitlin? Yeah, give me a second.
I was just suggesting stuff.
Caitlin coming up with all the good ideas again.
First of all, how dare you?
Okay, so hit me with one thing, Zach. It's the Glimmering Isles.
The Glamour Isles.
The Glamour Isles?
Yeah, the Glamour Isles. By Caitlin.
Okay.
That's where you're from, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Glamour Isles. Yeah. I do like how Cody is given the option to talk about anything in this world, and he keeps just nut punching England.
Oh, well, my headcanon is that they went to the Glamour Isles and that's where they're sailing around right now, so I'm sticking with that. If they went somewhere, it would make sense to go to the place that has the most boats. Okay, and then I got a question for you. So the main religion is called what for me again, one more time?
The Vatican Church.
Well, it's the Vatican Church, but I don't know what the name of the religion is.
Give me 1 second.
Vatican Church of the Prophets, is that?
That's like the full name of the church, but it's not like the Catholic Church is not what our religion is, what Christianity is called.
Gotcha.
I guess it is like the Vatican. I guess it's just like following the Vatican Church.
Okay, that's cool. That was enough. That was enough blank time on your end for me to come up with something that seemed like I had it. So that's cool. So this is another journal entry. This one is from the hateful hand of Friar Lewis. It makes no sense why they would have bothered to rescue me from the dungeon in which I found myself. Now, it is known that I have never done anything specifically wrong. I was the servant of the Vatican Church and led a congregation. I believe I did a fantastic job, but sometimes I was curious. I can admit it. In this case, I came across the book. It seemed evil, but I thought with the holy prophet behind me I could defeat its powers. As it happened, it was cursed. It's a tale you've heard before. Now my face is melting into a squid. My arms are red. My feet are hooved. And I was hated and despised and called a demon and run out of town. From my dungeon, I saw this tiny ship come sailing in, and I thought, oh, what it would be to be free. And apparently the crew heard rumors of my wretched demon self and was sent to slavery. But upon meeting me, they judged me not by my horrifying visage of a face melting into a squid, red hands, and cloven hooved feet. They saw who I could be, a man again, and gave me passage on board their ship so long as I stay below deck, melting into a monster. That is my story of Friar Lewis, written in his hateful hand. He can only write in, satanic evil letters now. If he tries to write English, it just writes, it, burns the page and writes in blood. Any book he touches grows a human skin shell.
All the A's are upside down.
Yeah, it's just instantly, any book he touches just becomes the Necronomicon.
Does he dot his eyes with pentagrams?
Yeah, no, he's super evil but doesn't want to be. He tries to be a good person, but everything he does is accidentally evil. And the crew was nice enough that they gave him passage on board their ship. He just has to stay below deck. So now the ship is haunted by a cursed demon named Friar Lewis.
I assume he doesn't stay there for ever.
Oh, he's in the game now. No, this is he's in the game. Zach he's not leaving. He's like your manservant. He owes you a debt of gratitude. In Robin Hood how there's what's the friar's name?
Friar Tuck.
Friar Tuck. This is your Friar Tuck.
Hold on, what was his name? Friar what?
Lewis.
Friar Lewis.
Good luck copying that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was excellent.
Yeah, Nostroy is no longer my character. Now I'm Friar Lewis.
If we're being honest, Friar Lewis seems more like a character that you'd play than Nostroy. Not that Nostroy isn't a character that you wouldn't play.
I'm excited to play Nostroy.
I don't know. I don't feel like I have to save Cody's feelings this time. I hate you, Cody. I hate you so much.
My inspiration for that voice was, what if the church guy from Princess Bride turned into a squid?
Oh my god!
I could hear that. Yeah,
I can see that.
I mean, that actually might help me do the voice if we're being honest.
Just spit a lot. You really gotta put something over the mic. Anyways, I'm done. Sorry. I have too much fun with this kind of stuff.
I've noticed. Anyway.
We can tell.
It's almost like you have your own podcast doing world building stuff.
Exactly this, yeah.
Mandy, what's going on? Tell me something about the town. Are they being invaded by half squid people that I have to all roleplay now?
Mandy just smiles.
No, mine's a little bit darker, so I was kind of waiting for all the laughter to die down. This is going to be a sudden mood changer here. So, one afternoon, not too long after the mysterious fire from the town hall, a group of preteens ran screaming from the Jardindios. Two of their group never came back. So now there are guards posted up and people do not go into the Jardindios.
Ooh, spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny.
All right, so I gotta do some culture-y thing, right?
Yes.
So how... You said the town is kind of starting to fall apart.
Yes.
How badly?
As badly as we determined.
Decide?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the point of this game is that you will be rebuilding / reuniting the town. Or I guess you could burn it all to the ground. I mean, that is an option. It is an RPG, but...
So, after a while after the Duke's death, as the city is starting to fall into chaos, there forms a little, starts little and starts to grow an underground cult, you could call it, that their mission is to basically restore the city. Like that's their goal, is restore the city to what it once was, like get it under control. And they kind of almost start acting like vigilantes. You'll hear tales of mysterious hooded figure capturing a murderer, and no one knows who they were or how they caught them. They are only moderately successful, though, because the collapse of the city is happening faster than they can stop it. I need to give a name to this group, don't I?
How Soviet do you want to get? Let's say you call them the Sickles. That kind of fits within the theme of Harvest.
How about Liga de Justica?
That's not how you would say that.
Justica?
Hustica.
Hustica. Liga de Hustica?
I like the Sickles.
The Sickles is better. I was making a joke. I was calling them the Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
I like including sickle, but I'm trying to think of something slightly different. Let me think for just a second.
I mean, the Sickles of Justice sounds like a cool name. Like, not jokes aside about me calling it the Justice League.
Okay, got it. The name of this group is Cultus Falce. I'll put it in chat. I'll put it in the recording rooms. It means the cult of the scythe.
Oh, I like that.
That's really cool.
That's literally just in Latin. And they chose to name their group in Latin out of pretentiousness. I don't know.
Technically, Latin doesn't exist.
Yeah, whatever.
So they're not pretentious. They're just making up words.
Well, what is our 7th C version of Latin? Because I'm sure Latin existed at some point, right?
Only Pig Latin. You have to do it in Pig Latin.
All right. Circling back around, so that was end of one round. Cody now is the cartographer.
Oh, dang it. I was prepping for the Lore Keeper. Okay. Well, I'm ready for that when it comes to my turn.
All right, Cody. Who's blamed for this terrible disaster that brought monsters to town?
That's a good question. Oh, so it's two things. Where did they come from?
Who's blamed for the disaster?
No. Where did the monsters literally physically come from?
From Ison.
So, it is blamed on two things. This is like the spin is one, this is Ison, like, it's like their, what's it called? It's like their skirmishing troops. It's
Vanguard.
It's like they're sent in not so much to actually conquer as it is to, create turmoil. So people see this as a prelude to an actual invasion, as like, if random puppies can cause this much pandemonium, what would a real army from Ison do? So it is blamed on Ison, but the internal reason is that, like, the fracturing of the town has basically ruined their ability to seem like they can defend themselves. So, like, city, the reason for it to exist at this time when there were nobles that were there to keep other nobles from killing their peasants, this fracturing and uncertainty has basically made it seem like a big, juicy piece of meat just laying there dying. You know, like, oh boy, this is a snack that cannot defend itself. So it's natural that Ison would then try to make a move on it, because why would it not? This is fertile land and a large city with a large population that can be turned to working for Ison. So this is just a prelude to invasion, because the nobility has yet to put forward a strong, unified front. The uncertainty is what is to blame.
All right. Mandy, would you like to tell a story of tragedy or renewal?
Can I do this from the point of view of my character and do childhood friend and tragedy?
Sure.
Okay. And then, Caitlin, do you remember what the item was that...
Our item?
Yes, our item.
Let me pull it up. The Sky Disc of Nebra.
Okay.
I got to draw a card. You get a person's face.
Okay.
If you want to describe that.
Yeah. It is a very... Well, I was going to say serene-looking woman, and then I realized she's holding, like, a knife. Well, no, she's still very serene. She's got red hair, and she's holding a knife out, not towards her, although it almost looks like it could be flipped. But I think that's just seeing it through the computer.
Yeah. Though the art in this game is very pretty, recommend anyone who is interested to check it out. The game itself is very well made.
Oh, I didn't realize those actually came with the game.
They did.
Just getting a name real quick.
You don't get to do a crazy accent like Friar Lewis.
No. I'm trying to keep it a little... Ooh, that's a good name. Try to keep it a little simpler. And doing my character's voice. All right. Don't laugh at my way of getting into this accent.
Caitlin's way of getting into her accent is every time she says, I'm Cormac O'Rourke, you may have heard of me.
Encanto, encanto. You know, it was very nice to see my cousin. It's been a very, very long time since I have seen her. Adelaide has grown into a beautiful young woman. And I was surprised that she had any information about this sky disc at all. You know, we had heard of it in one of the ports. Whoa, that was not the right accent. We had heard of it in one of the ports that we were in. It just struck me as something that would bring honor to Eisen and my family, and Cormac was very interested in it too, and she was just wonderful. She gave so many good ideas of where this could be, and it was such a nice time going out with her and Cormac and trying to find this. And if it wasn't for some of those traps, she would have returned with us. But she knew the risk that she was getting into, and thankfully Cormac and I were able to get back. That was the important part, but I don't know if I will ever be able to see. I don't know how I am going to tell any family that she did not make it back.
Man, you're just going for a tone tonight, man.
It's dark, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, look, you got Cody who's on one side of the spectrum, so...
Yeah, Mandy, during that, there were points when you paused, and for a second I thought, oh, is she just pausing to think? And then you start talking, it's like, oh no, this is entirely in character, and this is emotional, holy shit, and then it hit me.
Yeah.
I got in character tonight.
Acting.
All right, Vinny, witness me.
Where's your spray paint, Zach? Okay, I think I've got an idea.
All right.
So in Eretrios, I can't remember who it was that said this. Some of the events in town are being blamed on Ison, right? And there have been some minor skirmishes on the Isen, is it Montaigne? So there's been some minor skirmishes between Isen and Montaigne, relatively close to the Castille border. Just over some minor land. They're not really, it's not an all-out war, but it's just a little skirmishes going on, and people are very nervous that could soon bleed over into Castille.
All right, things are getting dicey.
I like how Isen are just the bad guys already. We set the German equivalent up to be the bad guys. Oops. Although I guess I didn't necessarily say who was at fault on the Isen Montaigne skirmish.
The French are also not good guys either. This is pre-French Revolution France, you know. They didn't get beheaded because...
I don't think that a whole lot of the nobility times were great.
Right.
Fair enough. Caitlin, give me some lore.
The piece of lore is actually a children's rhyme. So with all the unrest, superstition has kind of had a bit of a comeback. There are just people are bringing back the sort of things that they heard their abuela say to always do, and then they had never really put much stock in, and now they are. And along with that, some children's nursery rhyme type things have started cropping up around the bogmonger. So one of them goes like this. Mari went down to the big bad bog, and she waded in the water with a slimy old frog. He stretched his ugly mouth so wide, she took one look and cried, cried, cried.
I like that. That's good.
Thanks.
Stupid bogmonger.
Anyway, Mandy, you are now the cartographer.
Yes.
Who is profiting from the disaster's aftermath?
By disaster, I assume you're talking about the town hall.
Yes.
This may seem obvious, but I think it would be Senor Santiago, who is in charge of the city guard. Not only are there going to be more guard around in general because of these beasts that are potentially wandering around, but also now they're having to be posted in new places like the Jardindios. And I assume they would also either they would be doubled, or there would be more checkpoints where they're trying to figure out where these beasts are getting in.
All right.
That was less gloomy.
You can only murder so many people in a night.
I only murdered 3. Also, we don't know if those kids are murdered.
That's true. They could be off living their best life.
Vinny, are you sharing a story of captivity or of debt?
I'm thinking I'm going to do Captivity, the Spy. We still haven't named the ship, have we?
Currently, we have the ship with no name. That flies no flag.
That is a pretty good name, the ship with no name. That isn't something. What is it? The something with no name?
The horse with no name.
There's probably a lot of things like that.
Riding through the desert on a horse with no name. It's a song.
That's probably that, because my grandpa used to listen to that kind of music.
So, Cody, you previously had... did you give a name to the guy another pirate that was mad at us?
No, it was a Glamour Island's captain.
Glamour Island's captain. Did he have a name?
Yep. Do not remember the name. Don't remember it at all.
Giles Gray.
It's. I know we've done this multiple times, but it just seems the easiest to have it be from the journal of so and so.
It gives a reason to be speaking. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So this is from the journal of Eustace Silva. It's been 29 days since Captain Gray sent me on this mission. Unfortunately, I have been captured by the ship with no name. They haven't figured out who I am or why I'm here. Hopefully they don't find this journal either. Maybe I shouldn't be writing all this down. Not quite sure. I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I've discovered some information about where they've been and where they're going, so if I can ever get that information out, that would be great use to the captain. I am a little flummoxed by this disgusting monster that keeps showing up in the hold every so often. I don't know why they would keep something so terrible on board. I'm just hoping I get out of here soon.
All right. So is he stuck? Is he just like a permanent shipmate now too?
We can. I mean,
The tragedy. He drowned.
He could escape.
he might escape. He could escape. We could let him go at some point. Who knows?
He's just there when you pull into port another year and a half later. He runs off swearing revenge, and then Cody can blame Nyx for like getting thrown into a gladiatorial ring. And
Wrong campaign. Wrong campaign.
Cody,
Yes.
give me. Wait, am I? No, wait, I lied. Caitlin, what's going on in the town?
What's going on in the town? The Friends of the Duke Rebellion has made a sort of alliance with the Outlaw Theater, and as the increased guard presence has been cracking down on the Outlaw Theater more and more, the Friends of the Duke Rebellion has found it beneficial for them to continue, and so they will like house people and hide people, and will sometimes host locations for them to put on their plays, just helping them play the shell game of moving around and like putting on their performances.
So the underground is growing in strength a little bit, or at least unifying a little bit more. Cody,
Yep.
what's going on with the lore?
This would be culture stuff, right?
Yep, culture stuff.
So it's a really subtle thing. For the first time ever, you start seeing graffiti, or like what would be something similar to graffiti. It is always vaguely symbolic and meant to be instructive, and often painted in probably like, I think like mud frequently, like colored like clay almost, that's smeared on the side of buildings. Generally, this would be stuff like either garish and insulting depictions of like current rulers or current like enforcers. So like, what is his name? Senor Santiago.
Mhm.
Like, it's like, you know, him, but looking like he's missing a tooth or with like a mustache, stuff like that. But then also like vaguely like what, like illuminated drawings of, what's her name? Oh gosh.
Catalina.
Yeah. Or of the dead Duke. There would also be like positive paintings on the side of buildings, means like safe place to gather. Negative like paintings on the side of buildings means like friendly to Senor Santiago, or like this is a hangout for, you know, like the town guard. So it's just like a sudden need for out in the open but coded language. So kind of like graffiti, or like what like hobos did this, right? You know, they had like marks or checks that they would put on houses. No, I mean, this was like a thing.
So what I did,
Yeah.
Is that what you did?
that's what the red carnations are.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true.
okay. It can be an extended. I really like the idea of graffitiing.
I guess it's also insulting, though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It is. Yeah, I guess it's an extension of that grew more hostile and juvenile, maybe. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
There's so much stuff on the map.
Up until you started, like, I was like, okay, yeah, that's different. Until you started going, it's like a coded way to say these people are safe. And I was like, oh,
Sorry.
it's okay.
So it's a clay-based thieves' cant that they've
Yeah.
developed.
Yeah. It was a really good idea, Mandy. I really liked that thing that you came up with.
I can tell.
Because I came up with the same thing.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Wow, man, there is so much stuff on the map, though.
Yeah. But you guys are doing good. There's a lot of stuff to play with.
Caitlin, I like your portrait of Senior Santiago with the huge ears.
Yeah.
All right. The last bit of this year, Vinny. What has permanently changed because of the disaster?
The town hall's gone. I'm joking.
That's what Caleb was like. What building has collapsed? The town hall.
Before the town hall's destruction, and obviously before the Duke's death, the town hall was a meeting place for various town business, and it sometimes held like town votes when the Duke wanted to didn't want to just unilaterally rule something down. He would open it up and take like public participation. Since the town hall is gone, there is now not really a great place for that kind of official public participation in current events.
Mm-hmm.
So frequently what happens now is rules just get passed down, like new laws and new rules and new policies just kind of get passed down from on high, and the normal little people in town don't really ever get to have a say in it like they used to.
All right. Looking bad. Caitlin, you get a rescued person. Tale of faithfulness or anticipation?
I will do faithfulness.
Do you want a picture or no?
Oh, yeah, I kind of already picked my person, but okay.
That's fine. If you don't want a picture, fine.
No, who is it?
It's the cool guy with the bird.
Okay.
He is pretty cool.
He is pretty cool.
Got a bird and turban and a
kick-ass beard. He's got a dark beard and mustache.
Sorry, you mean a dark kick-ass beard and mustache?
Sorry, yeah. He's wearing pretty fine clothes, right?
Yes. Finer. It looks like nice-ish armor, like leather armor. He's got a bird on his shoulder, like a falcon.
Okay, so I am doing Hamza, who is a Knight of Avalon. I owe quite a debt to the crew of the ship with no name. They found me at a port, unfriendly and hostile to my presence there, and graciously they welcomed me, took me aboard, to a place where I could better serve the people as a Knight of Avalon is bound to do. I wear the mantle of Dunstan, the outsider, but something about the young lad, Cormac, his name was, he seemed drawn to me yet skittish, wanting to hear stories. Constantly, the lad loves stories, but still, he seemed reserved. The whole crew, as friendly as they were, as open as they were to taking me on for a time, they were yet guarded. The young woman seemed strong and brave, yet went by no name, and had a sadness about her I could not place. Despite all this, the crew treated me as one of them for the time that I was there, and I pledged to do what I could, even though they would not tell me their mission or their quest. I pledged that should we meet again, they would find a friend in me and in the Knights of Avalon.
I don't even have to make up any characters after this, though. You know,
Right?
I'd have to speak in the worst accent I've ever heard.
Yeah, that accent that Hamza used, I mean...
And by worst, I mean well-done accent that just sounds like it's going to be terrible for me to recreate well. Cody.
Yup.
Witness me. I have one joke.
Right, so this is what's going on in the town, right?
Yep, what's going on in the town?
Okay, so I have a thought that I want to, be either yesed or no'd by the group, because it's kind of a big one, and it a little bit undoes stuff, so, Real quick, just to make sure I'm not forgetting something, Senor Santiago, he was just, one of the more powerful nobles in the city at the time when it fell and was in charge of the town guard, right?
He took control of the town guard.
He took control. He had family and people who, owed him that
Gotcha.
became loyal to him. Therefore, the guards became loyal to him.
Gotcha. So, let me set a scene. Tell me if you like it. It's nighttime in the city, right? The Outlaw Theater is putting on a show, and Senor Santiago has finally decided enough is enough. The wolves are howling, things are falling apart, the town hall is collapsed, and the city is just a mess. And so this kind of gets set up to be the final showdown here, right? He musters all of the mercenaries he can afford, all of the town guard he has, and is we are going and shutting them down now. And anyone that seems remote, anyone with a rose, anyone that has a mean painting of me, it's we're closing it down, we're filling the jail cells, we're done with the rebellion, we have to get ourselves ready for an attack from Eisen, right? And that's Zach, which way is Eisen? North, right? So everyone's eyes are on the northeast, right? Worried about this attack. So right as this, like, kind of street war is about to go down in this town. Like, this very, it's like peasants with pitchforks and the couple mercenaries they managed to hire against the town guard and, like, the cult de Felce? Did I get that right?
Cultus Felce.
Cultus Felce are, like, up on the rooftops ready to spring down into action. From the south of the city, you hear war horns, and you see torchlight coming over the hills and rushing down towards the town on horseback. The banners that are being held and that can barely be seen in torchlight are that of a bog lurch. It is the return of the exiled nobles who were forced out of this city by the Harvest Night coming back to reclaim their home. And this is like, you think, we got it. Senor Santiago's going to win. He's going to sell himself. And it's like, they're both immediately stomped by a real army that just immediately invades. Not from Eisen, but from within Castille? Is that the right name?
Yep, Castille.
But from within Castille, like, the exiled noble family managed to scrounge up a real army and just marched back and took back their city while it was infighting and squabbling. Now, I want this to be the conquering of the Bog Lurch, right? So the Bog Lurch comes back and just takes the city. Like, that is their banner. It's like these horrible, like, these are the, from Dune.
Oh, it's the Baron. What's his name?
Harkonnen.
Yes.
Yeah, like, these are the Harkonnens, right? So they're, like, all, like, swolled up like ticks and, like, being carried on, palanquades as they're being, like, marched into town to reclaim their home. Now, I'm cool with that being a little too much, because that's pretty big, right?
Well, does anyone want to completely veto it?
I don't want to completely veto it, but I do think it probably should be scaled back a bit. Like, I don't think they totally win.
I think what I would say is that they take over the nicest part of the city.
How about this? How about they don't take over the nicest part of the city? It's like a siege begins, right? So, like, there's about to be a street war, and then you hear, like, catapults start hitting the outer walls, the gates slam shut, and everyone, like, screams, like, oh, we're being invaded. It's like you get the ringing of the bells for an invasion, and everyone's like, oh, Eisen's invaded, and they're like, no, it's from the south. And then you look over and see the banner of the Bog Lurch is outside the city. And I will say, as, like, a setting, a besieged city, they didn't just fall. They would be besieged for a long frickin' time.
Yeah.
So that kind of works as, like, a city literally under siege.
I'm good with that.
Anyone else? Yays or nays?
Yeah, I think that's good. Like I said, I just think they didn't necessarily come in and completely take it all back.
Yeah, I think I prefer the idea of a siege.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Cool. My thought would have been, like, more underground. Everything would have been way more underground, like the Outlaw Theater, the cult, the town guard, all of that would have had to been operating totally underground, like in secret. But City Under Siege also works because then it kind of gives everyone a reason why they sort of have to not immediately start killing each other.
I think the tensions are still, like, at that level, though. It's not like, let's put aside our differences. It's like, no, it's like, I'm gonna shank you, but not tonight.
Yeah. All these people still hate each other, but there's something worse now.
Right, well, I think what it was is just, like, the night the street war was gonna begin, the first punch wasn't thrown because they got it sieged, but, like, everyone's still waiting to throw that first punch. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not. They're not friends now. It's just that there's something more pressing happening.
Right.
I just had the thought of good night, good work, sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
I don't even think they'd be that cordial. It's more that what show is it? Fuck you! I'll stab you tomorrow. All right, I need a piece of lore from Mandy.
Yep. This is not gloomy, which is out of character for me tonight. So, at the beginning of this second year, which is funny because I'm going, like, last out of everything, I think, there was a saying that people in, like, this underground started to say to each other to acknowledge that who they were talking to was the right person and that they were friends of the Duke. Over the course of the second year, it became something that was almost said as a blessing before meetings and meals and drinks, which is, the night is broken, it will be lifted again.
I like
that.
I like that too. It's cool.
Okay, what happens at the end of the second year?
Well, do you want to know what the funny thing was?
Did Cody?
What was gonna happen?
Did
What was
Cody
gonna happen?
preempt you?
There was going to be a siege that happened.
Cody, you
Well,
did.
how am I supposed to know that?
Oh. I mean, the bog lurchers are like the same idea. I was gonna have like the Duke's brother comes, and he's like, "It's my city," and everyone's like, no. But I am fine with the bog lurchers. It does not upset me. As the second year of exile draws to a close, a shadowed figure enters the palace. Though it is the night of the Duke's party, she does not look as if she belongs. But that does not matter. She seems to know her way around without needing help. There is a troop of guards with her, and that quickly silences anyone that thought to stop her. The noise of the feast hall dampens as the woman walks up to the throne. My name is Catalina de Esteban de Florina de Oretrios, and I have come to take what is rightfully mine. Hey Wanderers, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Corsairs of Castille. This game is being run in the 7th Sea 2nd Edition system. If you want to hear more content from the Wandering Gamer Network, you can check us out at the Wandering Gamer Network website. We stream on Twitch with the username Wandering_Gamers, and you can follow us on Twitter at the WGN Podcast. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. All information about the music used can be found in the episode description. Until next time, wherever you wander, may you find your way home.